I have fallen further than I had before. But now I'm crawling, and I don't have the strength to get up off that floor. I'm giving into it, I'm living in it, embracing all the pain. Can't run from it, I can't numb it, I won't medicate. I'm still learning and growing. I am not who I was before. I'm done hiding from all my failures. Wait and see my masterpiece. Bruised and torn, all my broken parts falling like they collide, all to take me where I'm meant to be. So I thank my lucky scars. I thank my lucky scars. If I feel it, if I feel the pain, then I am still alive. And if I'm living, wanna give it all, not simply survive. I'm leaning into it, I'm breathing in it, inhaling all that hurt. 'Cause walking away, it'd all be in vain, and that would hurt much worse. I am not who I was before. I am done hiding from all my failures. Wait and see my masterpiece. Bruised and torn, all my broken parts falling like they collide, all to take me where I'm meant to be. So I thank my lucky stars. I thank my lucky stars. Oh, I don't know where I'm going, but I still learn and growing. I've fallen down so much, but hell, I showed
All right. We are on the live today. We are live, and kicking. My goodness, I am sure that you are ready to roll because we are. And so, I'm going to get closer to a little bit. All right. So today we are continuing in our series on stress. In fact, we are actually about to end. I think today is going to be the last episode on this season, on our season of stress. And so I'm hoping that you're going to share the stream if you get on live, and we're going to enjoy ourselves together. Either we make today the end of the season, or maybe we come back with yet another last one and bring forth everything that we said on the stress series. But we're about to wrap up the stress series, and today we want to hit on very important point in this series. And if you were watching, you already know what the topic is. So before we go even to our show for the topic, we just want to talk about our health tip for the week. And today on the live, there are 3 things that I am going to ask you, if you don't already know, to ask for. And I have shortened it. Hopefully I remember. It's PCS. P standing for your blood pressure. Your pressure, basically your pressure. And then C, your cholesterol. And S, your blood sugar. So know these 3 letters: your pressure, your cholesterol, and your blood sugar.
PCS.
PCS. if you don't know these three letters or these three numbers, they are all representative of very important health outcomes. And if you know your blood pressure, it will inform you as to what to do, whether or not you should do more exercise, take medication, or whatever it is that you got to do. Then you would have to do. But you got to know your blood pressure in order to make that decision. You also have to know your blood cholesterol level. You can get all these three things checked in your regular appointments with your doctor if you don't already know. You can call them if you have a recent lab done, and they'll be able to give you that number. And then lastly, your blood sugar level. Most people who get sick chronically end up getting sick, using these three things, at least one of them going wrong. So if you're going to have a heart disease, you probably would have a high cholesterol level, or you probably will have diabetes if your sugar is not managed or your blood sugar is not managed well, or you probably will have high blood pressure that may be leading to that outcome. So if you are well abreast, if you know these three things, obviously knowing by itself doesn't do anything, but knowing will help you to take action and make sure that you don't get any cardiovascular health issues. So that's our health tip for this week. If you are watching and you don't know, next time on our live show, I want you to tell us. You can share it in your comments that you got that thing done. So know your blood pressure, know your blood glucose, and know your blood sugar level.
Okay, so I have a question for you. So if you know it yearly, is it good enough? Like if you are not sick, so you don't go to the doctor's office often, and you know the numbers, is it good to know it for a whole year without knowing it in between? Or once in a while, if you get a chance, you have to check to know? Because I know some people have an idea where they are, but maybe that was like a year or 2 years ago and they don't know it. So, how often do you have to get to know the numbers?
1 year is your best thing to do, unless you are diagnosed with, for example, if you have diabetes already, then knowing it once a year wouldn't be good. You probably would have a doctor that will check you for every 3 months. But if you don't have any disease condition, if you don't have diabetes, you have been told you don't have high blood pressure, you don't have diabetes, you don't have high cholesterol, then you have to at least find out every year if it is still that way. Then once it's that way, your clinician or your doctor will let you know how often you should check it. But at least for those of us who don't know at all, your first thing to do is to know it the first time. And if it's normal, you repeat the test again in a year. That is the least you can do, unless your doctor asks that maybe it's on the borderline. So I want to check it within 6 months. Then of course you need it. But if you're normal, you have to still know it at least once a year to make sure that it is not going up on you when you're not paying attention. All right, so that is our health tip, and that's a good question. If you knew it and it's been a while, it's probably not normal anymore, especially with age. All right, so let's move forward. Our show today is this: the why stressed men die before their wives or before their counterpart ladies. Why women and men may be stressed at the same time with the same issue, but men tend to suffer death more. And so we're going to talk about a few things why that is that way. And that probably may be a little obvious in some extent, because we all know that mortality rates, are higher in men than women for the most part because of certain things. But we want to hit the fact that stress may be contributing to that. So we want to know what are some of the differences in the way we respond to stress, or perhaps the way we are stressed that make men get more problems with stress. So that is our topic for today. And I don't know if you have any thing to say. Otherwise, we're going to go straight to our topic. So last week, I think we discussed a very fun topic about how to actually manage or handle stress, especially in men, because it's Father's Day. We wanted to tell it a little to the men, but it applies to whether men, women, young and old. And so today it's open for all. Women and men can still benefit. How do men get stressed more than women, or is it even that case? And if it's my goodness, I think that's that case. That is a thing. And if not, why is it that men die more often or earlier than women due to stress? We want to talk about that. And I think we have a slide here, and we are going to talk about some of the reasons why men do that. So there are differences in the way men and women respond to stress. Differences. See where my mouse went. So the first one is heart health. And if you want to start off with me.
Heart
Yes.
health.
How is it that men do that? And by the way, if you haven't liked the stream, somebody has given us thumb up. If you haven't given us any thumb up or anything like that, you haven't shared, you haven't liked, you haven't started, this is the chance to show us some love. My goodness.
Yeah, with heart health, we know the diseases that affect the heart, right? So we talk of high blood pressure, increased heart rate, heart cholesterol, uh, are all kinds of diseases that affect the heart. So if we talk about stress, we mentioned already from our previous discussion that cortisol tends to be released. And if you are going through uncontrolled stress, it's likely that these cortisols are going to be released. And when they release, they may cause high blood pressure and heart rate, increased heart rate, which affects the heart. And when it affects the heart, then it means that heart health is impeded. You don't have a healthy heart because of the stress that is releasing more cortisol, and that will lead to heart diseases, which wouldn't make your heart healthy. So it's been known that men tend to produce more cortisol
My goodness.
as compared to women.
My goodness. We are the great gods, right? We produce.
Yeah, so we have the adrenaline being released
The
into
cortisol too.
and cortisol into our bloodstream. So men has been noted to release more of that. So you are going through stress, I'm going through stress, but because you are a male, you tend to produce more than a female. So because you are producing more, your chance of getting high blood pressure and heart rate and all that will affect the heart is higher than me that I'm a woman. So
My
that can
goodness.
be a reason why men will, it's likely for them to lead into getting stroke and complication of the heart more than a woman.
My
If I'm
goodness.
clear.
That's very true. That's very true. And I would add that, like she said, the cortisol release is associated not only with high blood pressure and heart rate. It's actually also noted that cortisol also increases your blood sugar levels. So you are going to have more men being prone to diabetes if they are stressed. If you are in chronic stress, we're talking about chronic stress here. More men who are chronically stressed are most likely going to be diabetic. Why? Because cortisol is going to be chronically released, and cortisol prevents blood glucose from being absorbed. When you have cortisol around, your glucose will continue to remain in your blood. It will continue to stay there until whatever is causing that stress is going away. So if you're chronically stressed, then obviously you're most likely going to have high blood sugar. And if you have high blood sugar, it will lead to what we call hyperglycemia and, of course, type 2 diabetes, which is also in itself a risk factor for heart diseases. So more men will get heart diseases, heart attacks, strokes, and heart failure, and all kinds of things that are related to cardiovascular health. And that is one reason why men die more of stress and earlier also than women. So that is that one.
Yeah, so I think we keep hearing that men, the chance of a man getting heart attack is kind of higher than the woman getting heart attack. So that could be contributed to this. The release of cortisol and adrenaline is higher than the release is higher in men than in women.
Definitely, definitely. The release is higher in men than in women. So the next point, unless we have anything else to add, there's another hormone um, apart from the cortisol and adrenaline that is released. That's called oxytocin, but we are going to find that also in the coming discussion. So stay tuned as we go forward. Now, I think we have a comment. Let me see. Brother Ben, I don't see the comment. I see you are on watching, but I don't know if you typed anything. We did not see that. But yes, thank you for joining us, Brother Ben. It's okay. And I hope other people are watching. If you are watching and you haven't said anything, you got to share your love, say hi, or tell us something. Make sure you give your comment and let's roll together. My goodness, especially the men on the line. All right, it's our day. All right, so the next thing that we are going to talk about, uh, it's mental health. And especially this one, we have a case study that we are going to observe. Most people have seen and heard a story about, one guy who committed suicide, in Ohio. We're going to talk about that, so don't leave. But before that, we want to talk generally about men and mental health, and then we will zoom into that particular story. So I don't know if should I start. So for mental health issues that lead men into problems, scientifically, as we already said, cortisol and adrenaline are there. In women, though, there's a different hormone, hormone. It's also released in men, but it is released more in women, called oxytocin, like we were saying. Now, cortisol and adrenaline, because they are released more, the bad thing, I should say, that they cause is that they can lead to aggression. They can lead to, so when you are responding to stress by way of cortisol or by way of adrenaline, the fear, the fight or flight response is what usually happens. So when men are responding to stress because of the release of cortisol or adrenaline hormones, we tend to respond using the fight. Either we fight the thing that is stressing us up, we run away, we face it, or we really run and do not show anything at all. We just want to avoid the situation. That is how men respond due to the abundance of cortisol and adrenaline. In women, it is less. However, they have more of oxytocin, and we're going to talk about that. So, can that be the reason why more men commit suicide? Can that be the reason why more men become aggressive? Well, let's talk about this particular thing that I think happened, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us have heard this story about this gentleman. By the way, as we go forward, I think I've seen more comments now. Brother Ben now says, great points on stress. Thank you, Brother Ben. Yes, we thank you like that. My goodness. And then also our Father of the Year from last week and for the rest of the year is Mr. Michael Hamza. He also says, we truly appreciate. Thank you for also that. All right. So now let's hit this story. I know most of you already know about this story, and it's not new. We actually deliberately waited for everybody to say their piece before we talk about it, because we really wanted to get the gist of what was going on. And I'm just going to say it for the benefit of people who don't know. So this is a couple who lived in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, immigrant couple, and apparently they have children, about 4 children, I think they said, about 4 kids together. The oldest is in the 20s, I think, and the man was 49 years old. And this man went and married this woman, obviously, and the lady joined them, and they had this family together. It's basically for a long time. And recently, the lady's mother passed away. And so the lady went back home and did the funeral. But while there, apparently, we don't know the details of what actually happened there. But according to the story, this lady reconnected to an old, is it flame? You say
Flame.
flame, an old flame. You know, back in the day, the person that she actually loved and wanted to be with. And so, after that encounter, she came back and told the husband with whom she has had 4 kids that she's no longer interested, and this man is actually just there. They just helped her to move out abroad and, you know, just made her life easier. But the person that she actually loves is the man that she saw while she went for the funeral of her mom. And so she actually literally said that this man, this husband with 4 kids, is considered a brother, but her lover is going to be joining her in the USA. My goodness. And so the man hearing this story, I mean, this from the wife with 4 kids. I don't know how many years they were married, but definitely decades, because if they're
20 years.
over 20 years, because their child is over 20 years old. This man could not handle it. This is where the stress we are dealing with came in. He got so stressed and apparently spiraled down immediately and decided to take matters into his own hands. And what did he do? Well, I'm going to pause and see. Those of you who are watching, if you have heard the story, I want you to comment in the, put it in a comment. What did this man do? What did this man do? If you have heard the story, what did this man do? Put it in the comment section. Let's see how many of you are following or were following the story. Put it in the comment if you already know. What did this man do after hearing this this man's wife telling him that she is leaving him, basically, and going to get married to a different person? Anybody on the live? Does anybody know what this man did? I want an answer from viewers wherever you are watching from. Let me make sure that I'm able to see all those who are watching here. I see some views from Facebook. I'm not sure if other people from other places can bring their comments, if I'm seeing their comments. But I just want to see how many people already know the story. So if I have to be more detailed, I will be. Or maybe I should just skip through it because most people know what happened. Yes, what did this man do? Those on the live, Mr. Ben, if you are still watching, Mr. Hamza, if you are still watching, what did this man do? If you know the story, what did this man do? Put it in the comment section. Or anybody else watching, let me see in the comment section, what did this man do? So that I can move on and see how many people were following the story. I'm still waiting for your comments here. What did this man do? Anybody on the live with that answer? What did this man do? Anybody else? I still don't see any answer. So all of you don't know. All right. All right. So if you don't know, then I guess I will have to tell you. So what did this man do? Oh, somebody said something. Okay. All right. So let's see what he said. Mr. Hamza said he made some calls and then shot her and then shot himself. All right, all right, all right, all right. So that is what actually happened. Oh, Mr. Ben didn't know. I don't know. Okay, all right. So that is the answer. Mr. Ben didn't know. Mr. Hamza has said the answer. This man actually called back to his folks in Ghana and basically did a will, right?
I think he left them a message. He didn't get to speak to anybody. He left them a message on the WhatsApp. Yeah.
So he left a voicemail for people to take care of his belongings here, ship them back to family, whoever is getting what, basically on a voicemail, and left them like that and said that that's the end. They are not going to hear from him anymore because he was blaming the wife for what the outcome should be. Nobody should blame him. And so Mr. Hamza have the story. Yeah, so that is what this man did. He shot himself, or he shot the woman and then shot himself.
Yeah.
And he passed away instantly. As to whether the woman wasn't dead at the time of the story. This happened this month, I think on the 7th or 6th of June, just this month. And so the woman um,
Is still
was the
fighting for
woman was
her
still
life.
fighting. I don't know if
She's
she
still
she died.
no,
If
she's
anybody
still
has
alive.
any message, any news about whether or not she's alive, let us know. Because at the last time we heard anything, she was gone. She passed away. But the point we are bringing here is that this man was stressed to the point that she could not handle the fact that the woman is basically not even cheating, just telling her upfront that, hey, I'm leaving you, I'm going for a different man because for you, you are my brother, you're not my man anymore. I found somebody that I love. And this man literally killed himself. I mean, supposedly tried to kill the wife and killed himself. He passed away, and the woman was fighting at the last check. And so that is what happened. So, what has stress got to do with this? Can stress make a man go to this extreme? And that is the reason why when we talk about stress, people think that as for men, we are shark. We don't easily get stressed. Men are, we are tough. But as a matter of fact, we are not tough because the question I was asking my wife before the show is, um, if it had happened to a woman, would they have done the same thing?
Mm.
If a man had gone and found somebody, an old flame, and said that, hey, honey, you are my sister. I'm not going to be interested in you anymore. All the kids, all the decades of life spent together, I'm throwing it out. You are no longer somebody that I love. I have found somebody I love. Would the woman do the same thing? And the funny thing is, we both agree that probably not.
This happened a lot.
It happens a
It
lot
happens a lot,
to
and
women.
sometimes to I mean the situation, like maybe even to the point that the woman will find out that the guy is cheating on her.
Mm-hmm.
But there, I don't know whether there is any instance that a woman will pick a gun and kill the man and kill herself. There are very few scenarios, few cases that will make that happen. So I think this one will boil down to the hormone that is released when you are stressed. I think with our research, we came up with this uh, like part of the brain. We have the hippocampus, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's part of the organ in the brain. And we've realized that for women, it's more like it really is bigger in a woman and it is that not that big in a man. So the hippocampus tend to make you more depressed. You know, you release an enzyme that will make you go a little low. You are on your low side. But with men, it releases something different that will make you more aggressive. So in your way of overcoming the stress that you are going through, in the way that you want to react, it becomes more aggressive. You tend to be very aggressive. Woman will draw in or just get depressed, and that can has its own complications. But for a guy, they will release something that will make them more aggressive, and they'll try to be very violent as compared to a woman. So in this case, the guy hearing this story was so stressed, but the reaction is such that he became very aggressive and decided to take his life and take the woman's life. But a woman may have responded differently.
Hmm.
You know, the worst that she can do, like she would do maybe like crying, getting very upset, and getting depressed. So I think we also have a better way of coping. We have a better coping mechanism than a guy, than a man. So this action that comes when you're stressed or the hormone that is released in your system is such that it make you violent, that is likely that you may take your life and you may die first than a woman.
So that's basically the first one that we actually talked about as the adrenaline release and the cortisol. No, more in men than in women. So the man's response to the stressful situation was to avoid dealing with the issue. Just, I'm out of here, as we say, I'm out of here. I can't handle this anymore. And so he was out of there. He killed himself, killed a woman, and killed himself. But in a woman, there's less release of those hormones, cortisol, adrenaline is less released. So acutely, it may not be as that way. And also, like she was saying, the hippocampus is bigger in women. So in women, hippocampus, the part of the brain called hippocampus, is bigger, and what happens is it is also the center that controls emotions, and because it's bigger, women have more emotions. So, like she said, she would have, if it was a woman, she would have cried probably 3 days nonstop, just weeping, because her brain structure is, helping her to do that as a coping mechanism. But in a man, the hippocampus is smaller. The part of the brain where men actually become more aggressive is a place we call amygdala.
Amygdala.
The amygdala is bigger, and that is the place where we actually tend to operate from. In that regard, we become more aggressive, we become more confrontational. And so instead of dealing with issues calmly, we confront issues violently. See somebody who cannot control their temper, it's all because they are operating from the amygdala, when women are operating from the hippocampus. And so it is normal for us to see men react that way to stress. So our brother said, boys are about. My goodness.
I think in the video, the guy says something like, "Oh, I'm not going to suffer for somebody to enjoy, or maybe like keep you up, make you look what you look now, work on you for somebody else to take over and enjoy. So let's end it all." So that was his reaction, you know. Instead, the men leave their women all the time. They leave them all the time, and you just sit and wait. Sometimes you just pray, or you just say some curses on them, but
But
you
honey,
still love your life. You wouldn't take
the,
your life away
the,
because of a man.
yeah, but the boys abroad. Look, this is a guy who struggled and hustled all by himself abroad. Made, I don't know how much money he was even making. Probably not really great professional making much, but saved up money, come for you. If you didn't love him, you should have told him right off the go. Now, you know what? The fact that you are in abroad or you are rich doesn't mean that I should love you. So please move on. I don't like you. Than to admit that you love the guy, and this guy thought that, oh, this is true love.
That was 20 years ago.
Yeah, and then
And
so for
sometimes
the woman, hey, my goodness,
things
woman.
change. So you have to learn to accept that situation changes. Things cannot stay the same. Maybe the feelings that the guy had for you 20 years ago, or the woman had for you 20 years ago, has changed. Maybe it has been something ongoing, some situations, that some circumstances or things that's happening in the marriage that the woman is not happy about. So it has gotten to the point that she's no more interested, or she's fallen out of love. Maybe initially she did love him, but situations have changed.
But my goodness, men on the live, comment, because I don't get this. Women too, women who are also watching. How can situations, you think you stayed there for 20 years, situations change and you didn't leave this man? You get all the good life. Look at her, how beautiful she looks now. On the picture, on the video, you can tell. You look like even getting younger. And this man has spent money, and according to sources, there were several other things that this man did, even for the family, the entire family of the woman. And you didn't tell him, you didn't love him, you had his kids, and all these years, you go back and you see your old flame. Only then you remember that I don't love you, and you are my brother. Oh, come on, man, woman, my goodness, my goodness. That is cold. That is cold. So those of us who are judging the guy, a lot of people on social media are judging him and saying all sorts of things. But I think that the woman is cold. The woman, it's true. The woman, did the bad thing, and the man also did the bad thing. But for a woman to live not in love for 20 years, have your baby, only waiting for the appropriate time and leave. Oh, that is bad. That is bad. That's bad.
But that's something we all have to know. There shouldn't be something that will hit you to the point, to push you to that point, that will make you take your life. So there should be a way that you should be able to cope, or you should be able to understand the situation, that things happen to people. People do change. And do you have the heart, and do you have the ability to withstand whatever comes your way? There is less you can do with other people. They are their own person. You can't control them.
Can't control
You
them.
can't control them. So if you learn ways and means to be able to cope, I think there shouldn't be a situation that will hit you to the wall to make that decision. There shouldn't be any situation like that.
Well, let's see this comment from our brother Ben. That is a long one too. He says that this means that they were having problems for a long time. I think we should talk more about the situations and get people. Oh, it disappeared. Let me bring it back up. And get. So I would say. Know someone. I would say if you know someone going through such situations right now, please tell someone. I can be of great help to both. I can be of great help to both. I think I'll read it from me. I can be of great help to both. They, what is it saying?
Will be willing
If they will be willing
before
it's too late. All right. Thank you, brother. Thank you for that. So it is true, yeah. As a matter of fact, I think I heard that story too, that they were having problems over a long time.
It's ongoing
It was an
problem.
ongoing problem. But men should not give up. And even though per our little chat on stress, we know that we are more susceptible to these violent ways of coping with stress, like the men did. Scientifically, if anybody would do it, it would be a man. If you compare two people, all right. But that being said, don't let situations last, for a long time. If you're going through issues, seek for help, and that will help you. And Brother Mike also says, I agree with you, Dr. Gifty. All right. So I hope that men watching, you will know that we are like machines, mechanical. I tell myself we are like machines. It's A plus A must be AB. And if that's what it is, that's what it is. But we got to learn to be flexible in the ways that we deal with stress, especially when it comes to stuff that are chronic. If one time you got stressed, something happened and it's over, you return to normal. But if you're going to be dealing with stress over a long period, do not let it continue, because it's going to end your life sooner. It's going to make you sicker. It's going to get you into diabetes. It's going to get you into hypertension. It's going to get you into heart disease. It's going to get into several other things that you don't want to deal with. So that is what stress can do. You have any last?
So with the mental health, how do we compare the woman to a man? Do we have women being more depressed?
Yes.
Than
yes. So basically, with the mental health, according to that little research we did, the women, because they have less of the aggressive part of what I would say cortisol and adrenaline, they tend to be more depressed, emotionally labile. They can weep and cry during stress. But men may be less depressed, but they can be impulsive. A stressed man may be impulsive. A stressed man may be aggressive, like we said, like the man that killed himself. This is the ultimate aggression, killing, and not just killing, but killing somebody and killing yourself. That is the ultimate form of stress leading to aggression. So that is what happens in women. The stress leads more to weeping, depression, major depression, a little bit of anxiety. But men, impulsiveness, aggression, also depression, but not as much as in women. So that is the difference. And if you can tolerate with your stress levels, remember, there's nothing in life that is permanent. Nothing in life is permanent. So whatever comes, if this man had said, okay, if you have seen a new person and you are moving out of my house, fair enough, go. And then the woman would have gone. She could have also married again. After all, there are more women than men.
Right? And for all that the guy that she's interested in maybe he is interested in someone else.
Someone else.
Maybe another
Because
woman.
if all these years you
Yeah.
have left this woman and now you think you're coming back, watch out. But that's what some women do sometimes.
And sometimes too, maybe when there is a misunderstanding, the woman may be just saying something to hurt you. Maybe they don't really, really mean what they're saying. So if maybe he had slept over it, whatever the woman has said to him wouldn't hurt that much. So sometimes when situation comes, give yourself time. Don't take the action right away. By the time that maybe he had slept through and woken up, he would have be like, okay, whatever. Even this woman is also interested in me, so I can go find someone else than to just dip it in and cry over it and come up with that decision, which is not healthy for the kids because you are leaving 4 kids behind.
My goodness. That another comment that Brother Ben also said is that if you have to sponsor your spouse through school, then guys, please tell her it's a loan. And she has to pay back. Then this way, oh my goodness, then this way you are not the sugar daddy but husband. You get his point, right? Yes. Some people just take advantage of helping people, and they are not telling them that I'm doing this for some reason. They just sponsor you and they expect you to marry them when the woman is probably not even looking at that as a thing. All right. So the next thing that we can do, we can go on to our next slide, and that is we want to talk about. Oh, I think I went far back. Let me see. Oh my goodness. Well, we know what it is. It's coping. We are talking about coping, how men cope with, stress, and that leading them to perish or die sooner than women. The coping strategies for both genders. Why men cope in different ways. All right. Do you want to start or?
Yeah. So let's start with a woman who is sick. Like we talk about her diseases, right? Her health. We know that blood pressure, diabetes, and all that. You realize that when a woman is sick, we tend to follow through. We tend to go to the doctors. We tend to take care of ourselves.
You seek help, right?
We seek help right away as compared to a guy, a man, because men sometimes they are very hesitant. I don't know whether it's due to the release of the hormones or what. They don't seek help, every little thing. Like sometimes the whole year they don't fall sick, but they don't follow through. So if you're such a man, it's likely that you're not going to follow through your situations and follow up with a doctor. You're not taking care of your diet and all that. Some men can be very careless, and sometimes they think that because they are not sick, they don't really have to go to the doctors. So taking care of yourself is very important, regardless of you being a man or a woman. If you want to live long, if you want to be able to handle stress or have a healthy heart, you have to take care of all the basics. You don't have to overlook. Men tend to overlook a lot of things, but when they fall sick, you can see that they really act like a child. But when they're sick, you have to push them. You have to help them. I think we had a discussion about married couple and a single person. So like married couple, you have your wife that will keep asking you to go seek help. But on their own, it's very hard for them to go look for help. Even when you are driving and you are lost, right? A man will never ask for direction. So, like, when you are in need, you have to go seek help.
Definitely.
That's how I was started.
So
yeah.
that is a first coping strategy that men usually don't. Women do. Women love to seek help. Sometimes we call them, they talk too much, but that's how they cope. They will call their friend, they will call whoever it is, and then they will begin to talk about their issues. And if they do, they overcome the stress. But men don't talk. A lot of men will keep stuff to themselves. I mean, I'm a man, so I can really attest to that. It is, I don't know, it's in our nature. It's not like, men really talk. They can have a really good close friend, but they would never share their problems. But a woman, you have to actually stop them from talking sometimes.
And that's a way of releasing stress.
That is a way of releasing stress. So
Yes.
men on the live, we have to learn to talk. We definitely have to learn to talk, because
If it's not through talking, and maybe when the coping is like doing something else to deal with your stress, you have to do it.
you have to do it.
Yeah, you can exercise if that's a way of you releasing stress. So if you control that levels, the cortisol level that you're being released by exercising, doing that is your way of coping with stress, so that it wouldn't get to the point that you will make the ultimate decision of taking someone's life and taking your life. So you have to find ways and means to deal with your stress. When you're stressed, maybe you are very irritable. Maybe when you don't sleep well, you feel like you are not doing well. Take the initiative, the little things that you can do, like get together with friends, go to church, everything, little thing that you can do to release that stress is very important. We are emotional beings. We are very emotional, but it doesn't mean that you don't have any emotions. You also do. So when you are sad or something is not going well and you want to cry, it's okay to cry as a man.
My goodness.
Yeah, like I was talking to Nathan about this story in John that Lazarus died. Lazarus died, right? And Jesus wept. Jesus himself cried. He let out emotions. So it's okay as a man. It's okay. Like in our language, you say what? Bemensu, right?
Men don't cry.
Men don't cry.
Men don't cry.
But sometimes if you are overwhelmed with emotion, it's okay to let it out. And by letting it out, you are coping with the stress level.
You are coping with the stress if you let it out. My goodness, that is good. That is good. All right. So the other way that men tend to pass away early and perish earlier than the women is that men cope with their stress using drugs and alcohol and unsafe sex. My goodness, my. A lot of men. I know that most
They
of you
drink it away,
they
right?
drink it away. Most of you are watching probably don't, but some men do. If they are stressed, it is alcohol. They are always coming home with the beer. They're coming home with the alcohol, with the vodka, and they're coming home with whatever drink you call it, however you call it in your area. Because if you ask them why, they say that, if I go home with the straight face, I'm going to be in trouble. I just want to forget about everything. Let me just drink and sleep. That is drinking your life away. And no wonder men perish before their wives, because you are dealing. Stress is not going to go away. Stress is part of life, because life is a journey of solving problems. If you didn't know, you are solving problems from when you were a baby and you got circumcised, they cut it and it was hurting, but you're solving a problem right there, right? So men, you started solving problems long time. You're going to solve problems. Women, you're going to solve problems. And so if you see life as that, then you don't see life as really a problem. You're just making sure that you do what you can and move on. But if you're going to hit to the bar, you're going to hit to unsafe sex. Some men, their insecurity make them just womanize. They're sleeping all around, and they think that will make them forget about the real issues that they are dealing with. There's something really actually eating them up. But when they are around women, or when women are around, they tend to forget. So they are treating their stress by womanizing. Before you know, you catch an STD, HIV, something that is serious. So you are cutting your life short by trying to cover up a problem or your stress with something that is not healthy. And most men do that. A lot of men do that. Womanizing, drinking, and using drugs, using, crack and cocaine, using all sorts of other drugs that we can't mention here. Those are things that lead us into trouble, because we are not doing the things that we have to do right. Like women, instead of being a little emotional, weep a little bit, pray a little bit, talk about it a little bit. Let's learn from them and then problems will be solved. So before we continue, we just want to also show you that we have we put up a site, excuse me, that we're going to begin to show up some merchandise, related to our shows and stuff like that, so that if you, need to either get something, you can. Let me see if I can make this right. So if you go to a website from today called DrOteng, you are going to be able to do that. You're going to be able to order some merchandise. We actually what we want to do is to be able to put up some certain things so that you can basically what you can do is you can buy merchandise, not just to support us, but to tell others or even buy it as a gift to people, so that those people will see the message that we are sharing. You'll be sharing with people too. So for example, let me actually scroll down. We have some merch here. We have related to our stress series. We have put up some clothing. We have a jacket or sweatshirt that we have relax on it. So we're talking about stress, right? Buy this, wear it, give it to somebody as a gift. Tell them to chill out a little bit. So relax. The woman also dressed in gym clothing also has this here right on the boobs. There it says relax. We have a hoodie, jacket with a hoodie says relax. We have a relaxed hat right here. If you wear this, you are telling somebody to stop being stressed and be relaxed. So go to our merch shop again. It is droteng.com, and we are going to add a lot more, especially some of the things that we talk about. We're just going to make it in short format, just make it available so that people can roll with us as we move forward. Also on the same site, if you want to, before that, let me just click on one. Let's see how this. I think I saw a woman wear this and it was really nice. Let's see how this woman looks. See that? It says relax right on there. Relax. Just buy it, give it as a gift, or wear it yourself. When on your most stressful days, you wear it and you say, look, I'm relaxing right here. And this is from our own store. So if you buy it, you'll be supporting the channel, and then you'll be also telling yourself messages of hope concerning some of the things that we are going to be talking about. And so there's more. We are going to actually add more from today. These are just for what we have talked about within the past few episodes. So the stress series, and we are going to end the stress series. So we just wanted to make sure that we have something that you can remember. And we're going to add more to it as we move forward. We also, as I was about to say, all our other channels are linked here. So all you got to do is to bookmark droteng.com. It's droteng.com. That's it. You can go to our Facebook site. This is our YouTube site. You can go there. If you want to go to somewhere else, you can go to Instagram. Everything is linked up right there. You could also go to the one that I also like, our podcast. So if you are not watching the videos, you can go to our podcast site and be listening to all these things that we have put there. Most of the things we talk about, they end up also on our podcast. So if you miss the show, you can go to our podcast, also listen to it. And then, so either Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whichever one you want. This is Apple Podcast. And when you go, don't forget to also give us some stars. One person went there and they gave us 5 stars. Just one person. So after this show, go to droteng.com, click on all those links, and make sure you review and give us a lot of stars. And watch, some of the shows too. If you go to our YouTube channel, with that link, you can see all the things we have talked about. We have a lot, all these videos are there on our YouTube channel. But you got to go to droteng.com and then click on the YouTube play button. All these things are there. A lot of stuff. We only come here on live only once a week, but I'm telling you, we have a lot more stuff that you can think about. All these are just playlists, So we just wanted to make sure that you are aware of that. So before we conclude, we also want to, is there any other thing that we wanted to talk about?
Yeah, so if you have a husband who, after work or when there is a problem, he just want to resort into drinking. How do you go about that?
If you have a husband, this is a question for all the men on the live. I'm not the only husband here, or all the men who will watch later. I know some of you are watching from our YouTube group, and your comments are not coming through. I see some comments there. Unfortunately, when you watch it from the group, you have to allow the system. There's a place you click to let it show your name in your comments, and they should come through. But wherever you are, watching from, just make sure you put your answer. If you don't see it on the live, we'll respond right after we close the live show. All right. So men out there, why is it that some men come home and all they want to do is to drink alcohol?
Or sometimes they come home drunk.
Oh my goodness, that's even worse. They come home even drunk. What would you do? What would you do? At least I know Mr. Ben was watching, and Mr. Hamza, my brother Emmanuel was watching also from our group side. And so bring your answers. What would you do if you were a woman? Men on the live. If you were a woman and your husband comes home every day drunk, or they come home and then the first thing they do after seeing you is to hit the bottles, what would you do? I'll give you my answer. And I think that the first question I should ask is my woman stressing me up? Why would anybody come home drunk? It means that man is stressed.
Stress, yeah.
They are stressed. So I have to find out the source of the stress. If they are stressed at work and they want to come home and relax, and so they hit the bottles, the alcohol, thinking that will make them forget about all that they've been through at the day's work, then we have to do something about it. If it is not that, but it's because they don't want to face the lion in the house.
And the question will be, how come that your wife has turned to be a lion in the house? What is making your wife turn to be a lion in the house?
And the answer would be, some women are lions no matter what.
So you can see that you realize that there is a problem somewhere.
There's a problem, yeah.
And some men will resort into drinking just to cover up the problem. And sometimes the women will react in this way, being very unfriendly to be around. It means that there is something eating them up. As a woman, as a man, or as married couple, what do you have to do? You have to have time, sit down and talk about it. So if the woman is falling out of love, as a man, what can you do to win your wife back? So the case study that we talked about, it's been ongoing problem. But I think there was no effective way of dealing with that problem or with that stress. So that led to that situation. So if there is a problem, you don't wait for it to be blown out of proportion. So if it got to a point that you can't tolerate each other, you can part your ways, but to keep living together but not doing the right things or trying to solve the problems. I'm sure they tried because they stayed for 20 years. So what will make a person, get to that position with the coping? I think we should learn to say that I can't control him, and because I can't control him, I can control me.
So
what can the person do to me? I cannot stop it. But when it hit me, how do I react? How do I react? That's the coping mechanism. So if it's something that you can't take it, you walk away. You walk away.
Resulting to violence is never the answer. Because, killing that woman or killing yourself, the problem is still not solved. You are still taking that problem to hell. And that, God forbid, my goodness, all those stresses you dealt with, and now you're going to face God and be stressed in hell. My goodness, no. Never take your life. We're saying it like it's easy. It's not easy. Sometimes I try to put myself in this man's shoe just to see if I can feel a little bit of why he would do that. But if you don't do that, you will just judge quickly and say that this man is dumb. Why would anybody do that for a woman? It's not easy. You say that easily when it hasn't happened to you.
Yes.
But if it is you, that is when you will really have to make that decision to live or not to live. And to some of us that are watching, men and women alike, we are dealing stress in worse ways than this man. The problem, the only thing is your death hasn't been instant. But hey, you are overeating because you are stressed. You are eating ice cream like you are a kid because you are stressed. You are drinking alcohol non-stop because you are stressed. It's the same thing that this man did, just that he did it with a gun and he's gone in one shot.
Aggressive way.
Yeah,
It can be passive.
It can be passive. You are doing it slowly, getting diabetes, slowly getting heart attack, being stressed all throughout. You are doing the same thing. It's just that yours is the slow way, So let's be quick to judge. What we should do is to introspectively check our own lives and see how can we do better. How can we beat stress? How can we relax, as we saw on our website? Just relax, because life is not going to be easier anytime. Check the times. Somebody said it like it's never going to be easier anytime. It's always going to be harder. We used to buy gas here at 99 cents. Yeah.
So you're talking about financial stress now?
Yeah, 1990, 98, 99 in the US, I was buying gas 99 cents, less than $1. Today, gas is about $4 almost. So should you be stressed because it's going to be $5 in the next 5 years? No, just buy it when it's $5. If you can't, just live on. So life is going to continuously be harder as we go. But the thing is, you don't live and be too conscious to the hardness or hardships that come your way. You do your mighty best and live through and enjoy your life. That is why we are here on the Life and Health Show. And we are going to continue to bring you stuff like this to let you cheer up and believe that with God, all things are possible. And it is not over until it's over. Do not end your life. And be careful to treat people around you well, whether they are children or your wife or your spouse, because you may be getting them stressed. If you don't want them to, remember to go to our website, www.droteng.com, buy some merch that says relax, and wear it when you are getting stressed, or give it to somebody. All right, I think it is a good time to...
Yes, so find a good coping mechanisms. I think we went over the coping mechanism some time back. One of our talk show talked about how to cope. So find a way to cope with your stress, your coping mechanism. Which one relaxes you? What is it that you do that you feel so relaxed? As women, maybe you can go pedicure, manicure. You go, do something relaxing. Get with friends, get together. Talk. If you have to talk, sit down and talk it out. If you have to cry, if you have to pray, whatever you can do, just go ahead and do it. Don't keep it in and get depressed. Don't keep it in and take your life. It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
Find a way to cope with your stress.
Find a way and cope. And men on the live and men that watch after the replay, we promise that we are going to outlive our women, because stress is not going to get to us that way. Stress will come, but we are masters of our destinies. We are overcomers. As Romans says, we are more than conquerors through Christ who strengthens us. No matter the challenge that comes, even when we feel like we are alone, then are we not alone? Because God is with us, and we will beat every storm, no matter how high, no matter how fast, no matter how raging it may be, because we are men, and we do this. All right. Until we see you again on the live, we say, Beloved,
we wish above all things that you prosper
and be in health, even as your soul prospers. Thank you for watching. God richly bless you.